So hey guys, so welcome to my channel. So in this video I want to talk about a thing named Copilot, and I have been using it for a month and then I quit it and then I am back on it again. And meanwhile in this phase I learned something that I felt like I should share to you. Well, it is not about things like it is problematic to privacy or something like that, but it is something about people like me who are about to go to college. Like I am going to college after some month, and I am going to start my first year of college, and I felt like it is very needed to be solved because it is now a new era of technology in which AI is like booming for like anything, and we have to use it very carefully because whenever there is a great power, so you have a great responsibility to handle it properly. So what do I feel like about Copilot is that it is a great tool, but it can be a disastrous thing too. Not in the sense of privacy, but in the sense of that it will replace you in some way. And that is not because you are not using it, that is because you are using it a lot. So I would start with thing like why should not use Copilot for some of the things. First thing is that you should not use it while learning new things. Like I have been learning NumPy for some time, and I was using Copilot the moment, and I felt like I am learning NumPy, but at the end I realized after some topics that I am not learning at all anything. It is the Copilot who is spitting the code, and I am just accepting it whenever I want. So, and I didn't literally understand it properly. So what would you do is that you should not use it while learning new things like new language or something like a module like NumPy. And why I say that, because if you are going to use it, so you won't be able to learn it by your own self. And remember the thing that Copilot is basically a LLM, and what does LLM is in basic sense is that it is a huge neural network system, and what it does is that it is being trained on some kind of data sets, and it uses just that data set to suggest you something. And if it is like you have got stuck into a very new problem and there is no solution on internet and neither on Copilot, so you are you are going to be stuck, and you have to, as an engineer, you have to like solve it by your own, but you have never solved anything like that, and then you will like regret about it. So what I would recommend is that whenever you learn something new things, so not use Copilot, make it feel like faster, because you will feel like you are learning very fast, but it is not like that. Learning is a process in which you need to give your time, and if you won't give it, so you won't learn it. And the next thing that I would like to say is that not let the co-pilot be the pilot and you become the co-pilot. Why I said that, because if you are like a person who is just writing comments and then you wait for Copilot to spit the code and you just accept it and then move on, so in that process I would like to say that you are never going to become a real engineer, because what I understand by real engineer is that the one who actually solves problem. Like if you are not able to solve it by your own, so you can't be like a real engineer. And when you are stuck into a really big problem, and in that point you realize that Copilot doesn't know how to solve it, so you are stuck and you are going to have a hard time on it. So what I would recommend is that you should not let Copilot to just spit out the code. If you are like a person who just wait for Copilot to just generate code and you let him to lead your project and you don't do it by your own, so at the end it is going to be a very big problematic program, because in programming you are not supposed to just write anything and just unnecessarily, because in programming you are like you have to see a lot of things in general other than just like typing and that thing, like optimization and other areas. So I would recommend you to not do this thing. Another thing that about which I would like to talk is keep eye on your Copilot pause. Like I have noticed by my own self, like I used to pause sometimes and wait for Copilot to just generate the code and I will just accept it. But the problem is that if you do this kind of thing, then it's going to harm you a lot. Like I have seen my own self doing that, and when I just stopped using the Copilot for some while, then I realized that I have got habitual of waiting Copilot to just do the thing for me, and I'm not doing it anymore by my own. So try to look at yourself and see whether you are also like a person who is just waiting for the Copilot to just give the code and you will just accept it and move on. Because if you will just rely on Copilot, so it's not going to work anymore. Like it's just trained on some kind of data set, and if you are like on new problem, as I earlier said, you are going to have a hard time. And last thing that I would like to say is that use it only when speed is the only priority. If you are like in a very bad situation in something like you are doing an intern and you are like supposed to write like a lot of code, and at that moment you are like you just have to save your life and you have to just code. So what you can do is that you can use Copilot for that purpose, but remember that you should not do it for your own self. So that's all that I wanted to say about Copilot, and let me know in the comments what do you think about Copilot and how imagine that whether it will upgrade and continue to be growing forever and ever, or it will be like it will come into some saturation point and it will just be at that point for always. So thanks for watching, and that's all for this video, and bye.